So low.
It's too low.
Right low.
Um,
Like I'm looking down.
it is. Let me see.
Let's see. Here we go. Reposition this thing here.
Oh, let me see now. Let me grab mine.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
nope. Hello. Nope.
All right. Well, maybe this will go back.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
We're always doing this at the start of these things. It's the balance.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. See?
Heavy there.
Oh, need my phone?
Yeah. Let's try it.
No.
Oh.
Kind of.
Kind of, sort of.
Don't rock too much if we do it like this.
Don't rock the boat.
Let me see who, anybody on here yet. I could put that on. Oh, we got 11 people watching. Oh, Lord. Let me pause that down. Yo, what's happening? Changing the narrative.
Hey, y'all.
Yeah. I'm putting a link in the Chizat.
What the is that?
Yeah, just look like this at. The link in the Chizat, just like this at. Damn. Oh, they got that super chat thing on that thing, boy. Wow.
All right.
Man. Now, you know what? I think it might be load shedding because we only got like 11 people on here, but it's not load shedding over here. So
but you know,
it's different parts of the city. Yeah. Yeah, it's different parts of
not here at the back.
Oh. Well, that's just the pause on the thing. Hey, how's it going, Taxi? What's up, Taxi? Shout out to the 17 people in here, man. Look,
hey, y'all.
The smaller the club, the bigger the party. Great philosophical musician. Said the smaller the club, the bigger the party. Hey, fam, can't believe I caught the live from the beginning. I was in NOLA for a couple of days. Woo, you a soldier. Yeah, I know it was dangerous. What you was doing in NOLA? Angie, what you was doing in New Orleans? Yeah, why? Why were you there? What would bring you there? Nah, man, it's a great city. Just gotta be careful.
Right.
All right, Shabani, Mikaetiko. Hi, fam. I'm sorry. Y'all know I'm not good with the names. I'm not good with these words, but I'm learning. I'm learning. Yeah, so we got 18. I think it's that load shedding and hit us up. But that's all right.
It happens.
I just want to jump on this. We ain't gonna be on here too long. Another quick video, a quick live.
Right. We got to prepare for the week ahead.
Yeah. Tomorrow is our anniversary. It's our anniversary. Do you know what today is? It's our anniversary. 14 years. Strong. So yeah, I don't know what we're doing for our anniversary. I asked Adrienne if she took off for work. She said no. So I took off and everything. Put it out like I took off. I'm just be open to do whatever. And Kennedy. All right. Good evening, Kennedy. What's going on? Yesterday, man, we could talk about that meetup. We definitely got to talk about this Tyre Nichols situation that happened in the States and how it's indicative of the need for African Americans to really get out of that, as Mr. Lenny would say, that nightmare that they're in, right? That we come from, that we live in. So yeah, I'm gonna wait to 30. Lips dry. Wait till we get to 30. We're at 24. Then we'll just jump into the live. But those who want to jump on to the live, the link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. Paste. Let me see. Paste. George, what's going on, brother? Good evening, brother. How you doing? The link is in the chat for anybody that cares to join. We at 28. We at 28. 2 more. Can I get 2 more? Can I get 2 more? And then we'll just start running off at our mouth. And anybody that wants to jump in, and we'll just have this virtual meetup that we yesterday we had the in-person meetup. And we'll have this virtual meetup. Boy, it'll take a long time for these 2 people. 1, 2, that's that load shit. I'm telling you, it's a load shit. Load shit not in control. We had a good conversation about that yesterday.
Who?
At the table. And I was talking with the guy who installs inverters.
Oh, I must have missed that combo.
We at the other table.
Yeah.
Babali, hey fam, how you doing? Love, Dr. Asad, never you say it's going to be a quick video 2 hours later, we're still watching. What's your definition? It's now. That's my definition of quick. Now. Yeah. Just now. That's how yeah, I'm not complaining about it. I'm just messing with you, man, because y'all know I like to talk. So once I get to talking, it's a wrap. And I time passes. I'm like, oh Lord, it's been 2 hours. All right.
Nice. Victor Vico.
Hello, fam. We don't have load shedding. Lights have been off. Hello, fam. We don't have load shedding. The lights have been off from the morning.
So he's saying you can't blame them.
Okay. You should try the Magawanani couples night spa for your anniversary. They used to have a bus that fetches people from Monte Casino and their Hearties campus. It's a beautiful experience. Sounds interesting. Okay, we didn't hit the 34. Lord. Let me put this the link in here for anybody who want to jump in. So, all right, family, it's your brother Asad. And we are back again with another quick live. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and hit that notifications bell so that you'll be notified when we drop new material on this channel. Secondly, in terms of housekeeping, I got to give a special and a significant and a particular and a peculiar shout out to my South African family for all the love you guys have shown this channel, my wife, myself, my children. We greatly appreciate it. Third, in terms of housekeeping, bam, just like that, I gotta say, yesterday, 1947 on Villa Kazi, we had a wonderful meetup. It was just great to commune with people. It's something intimate and nice about that place. It's like with all the windows and everything open, and you can look over the balcony and see the people moving around Soweto or whatever have you, or Soweto. I'm sorry, Soweto. Yeah, so I don't know why I say where I got Soweto from. Maybe it was that movie Serafina. I don't know.
Maybe so.
But it's Soweto. Yeah. But anyway, so we had a great meetup yesterday. It started off, it was like 4 or 5 people there, and then that colored people time. Somebody reminded me about now, just now. Right now, all right. So in America, we got colored people time. And colored people time, people was coming at 6 o'clock. It started at 2.
That takes CP time to the next level.
The people came away out the door. People leaving, people was coming. I said, no, I'm not just around here for another 3 or 4 hours.
4 hours already.
Yeah, people started at 2, people came at 6. I said, wow. What's up? Wow. That's out of control, man.
Right, we were like, we on the way out the door.
Let's see what we got. How was the meetup? I just Polo, it was fire. It was great. It was nice. Salam alaikum, Blackfish. Yay, everyone is back, still alive. From where? Back from Ashford, from where?
Back from where?
I don't know. She said everyone is back, still alive. I don't know.
Where'd we go?
Maybe she was, I don't know, maybe it's a reference to Soweto or something. No, man. Soweto's all right, man. Soweto's all right, man. Matter of fact, Soweto looked like a regular neighborhood in New Orleans. It looked like a regular neighborhood. Not even no hood. I mean, besides like you get the little area where the shanty towns are, like the informal settlements, yeah, that's different. But like the regular neighborhood, especially by the Villa Kazi, oh yeah, that looked like that's
the houses were really cute.
Hey, it's like they keeping their yard up and everything. Y'all just don't know. The type of stuff we see, and I said, I was like, this guy, they be talking about Soweto like it's a, I don't know. I'm like, man, it's nice over here. But yeah, I was just saying, oh, bitch, oh, okay, no problem. All right, Belisa. Right, what's going on? Peace family, how you doing? He said he was just being, Ashley said he was just being sarcastic.
Okay.
Mark Solosi.
What's up?
I think the X, they say with the X, you gotta, oh, somebody.
Oh, okay.
Somebody in here. They say with the X, you gotta like do the.
Oh, okay. There you go.
They joined African time. Big facts. They joined African time. They took it past colored people time. Colored people time is only like 45 minutes late.
It's a US thing.
Yeah, but this and they brought it back to the genetic roots of the and came 4 hours. I was like, dang.
I know. Even 2 hours in, it was like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, like, CP time is where they say Black Americans are always late, not colored people in South Africa, just in case. Oh, yeah. Thank you, brother Curtis, before this on. So back in the day, Black people in America were called colored people. That was not an association with like colored South Africans. In America, before we were called African Americans, Black, we had all kind of names. We've been Negro, we've been Black Americans, we've been African Americans, and colored people. Like on some people's birth certificates born in the 40s and 50s, they have colored. I think around the 60s, it just became Negro. And then I think most birth certificates either say Black or they say A for African American. McKay, what's going on? I can't see you, but I think I can hear you.
Okay, let me see. Yeah. I'm good, Doc. How are you, Doc?
All right, let me see if I can get you to turn the camera on. Let me see. Ask to start the video. Bam, just like that. Let me see if I can get you to turn that camera on. Because it looked like we'd be talking to ourselves on that video.
I know.
I don't know if he got it. That was
Is the volume up as well? I was having a hard time hearing him. Yeah.
Okay, I can hear him typing, but I can't see him. We'll wait. So McKay, what's going on? How you doing, brother?
I'm very
Uh-oh. I hear a lag in your
thanks, and Doc.
Yeah, he dropped off.
I
think that's it. His internet.
Call back if you can.
Clarence Carter, Soweto, an acronym. Am I missing something? Clarence Carter. Soweto is an acronym.
No, this person was clarifying that the way that you said Soweto came from some song.
Oh, Clarence Carter. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Word itself.
Okay. But you had a wonderful, I saw a video, pictures yesterday. You witnessed a crime, your own eyes and essay. No, not yet.
Nope.
The only crime I've witnessed is load shedding and the taxi drivers. I've seen the taxi drivers cut on the side of the road on this side, go around people, come on oncoming traffic and jump back over, then run a red light. I've seen that's a crime. But other than that, I haven't witnessed any crime or anything in the side, and I hope I don't. I want to look. I haven't seen enough crime in my life. I don't need
ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss. I don't want to be no parts of it. I don't want to witness no carjackings. I don't want to be part of no carjacking. I done seen 2-3 people get killed in my life. I don't want to see no more of that. I'm good. All I want to see is malls and restaurants and people laughing and having a good time. That's all I want to see. I'm through with the trauma. Bam, just like that. Lawandale. I think I got that. Lawandale. Beverly, what's going on? I'm originally from H-Town, now live in SA. What times? Oh, no, South. She's saying she's from
Lawandale.
Lawandale? I don't know. But I'm trying to see if Beverly is saying she lives in South Africa. Oh, no, she lives in San Antonio, Texas, Hill Country. That's where I'm going. What's the word? Johannesburg. Yeah.
Hey, Beverly.
All right. Kennedy was saying, okay.
It's usually, I feel like it's the other way around. Typically, it's people going from San Antonio to Houston.
H-Town, yeah.
And not the opposite. That is interesting.
There's a quick getaway with family. Stayed at La Pavilion on Portage. We stayed there one time.
Pavilion.
Yeah, on Portage. Did the square block Bourbon Street Center, but I admit I'm too old to be down there after dark. Ate at Mother's. Ooh.
I really didn't love La Pavillon. Like, I didn't think it was the greatest
Yeah.
hotel. I was like, all this hype. I think it's because it's historic, but
yeah. And she ate at Mother's, baby. That's the only time you want to go to the hood is to find that. You want to go find the good food in the hood, not Mother's, man. But yeah, everybody, all the tourists go to Mother's. Yeah, it sounds like you're on a spaceship orbiting the planet, very broken up. Us? I hope not. Jesse Jackson was the one who brought about us being called African Americans back in 1988. Valencia, that's true, but I often remind people that the AME Church, founded in 1787, which is less than 10 years after the founding of the United States, was called the African Methodist Episcopal Church, right? The Prince Hall Masons, which was older than that, the Prince Hall Masons were called the African Lodge. So I think that terminology was there for a long time. We knew it was African, but I feel, yeah, Jesse Jackson was the one who said it linked us to a continent. Black is a color and not a place, and everybody else was linked to a place. Right. Irish Americans were linked to Ireland. Italian Americans were linked to Italy. German and so forth and so on.
Find a connection to Black land.
It couldn't, and it's
like, where's Black land?
There's an interesting argument about that because, like, African Americans links us back to Africa, but Black actually links us to all people in the diaspora and like Polynesian, Melanesian islands and all that type of stuff. But so that's one way of looking at it. I think that's the way that the presentation that like the nation says, no, we Black, whatever have you. But I think a lot of that be rooted in anti-African sentiment too. We just don't want to identify with Africa. So yeah, I think that's part of that. You should open up a butchery. The way you chop it up in African. Yeah. Oh man, let's see. Oh, this is slipping. Oh, it's on my leg. I'm moving my leg. Cheney, let's do it live on Wednesday at your spot or mine with Bennett. Big facts. I'm with it. Let me see. I think I got I got one meeting on Wednesday at about 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. So it would have to be after that, changing the narrative. Hi, Dr. I always enjoy your live streams. Hope you pioneers organize trips for the youth to visit the motherland and sort of kabut systems for eventual repatriation. Dr. Saad, who wins between MJ Chicago Bulls and KD Golden State? I don't know, man, because I ain't gonna lie. Like, I think KD is the best basketball player in the game right now. Wait, yeah. Is that who? No, not KD, Steph Curry. Steph Curry.
So now you're talking about MJ Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
That's
but
throwback.
Yeah, I think Michael Jordan is the greatest player ever, but everybody got their opinion, and I'm not really the sports person to really be asking. Like, I don't really do too much on the sports tip, but I do think Steph Curry just is like amazing, like in terms of shooting and winning championships, because he won a few. Yes, he did, because he wanted to name that was much closer to our African ancestry, but Brother Malcolm used Afro-American. And come on, courage before dishonor. Bring in that Malcolm history. Y'all know Malcolm, one of my heroes. Dr. Asad, how was 1947? So let's talk about it. Man, 1947 was good. They got they have a clam, they got a seafood chowder at 1947 that is the closest thing that so in the States we got, I guess they call it
the clam chowder.
No, or they would call it like a bisque, right?
Yeah.
Not the crawfish bisque, but a bisque. And they got one at 1947 that, I mean, I had to ask for it without bacon because they make it with bacon. And usually restaurants be like, oh no, it's already pre-made. But no,
so they must add it in after.
They must add it in after. And then, oh yeah, I can make it without bacon. And man, I tell you, I could probably go back there tomorrow and give me a bowl of that. It's good.
Ain't nobody driving out seafood chowder.
But it's good. The atmosphere is good. It's almost clubbish, not clubbish, but you know that people, the music is playing. People are coming in there not really dressed down. They're not dressed up, but they right in the middle. You know, like they're going out to have a good time, whatever have you.
Yeah.
And it's the atmosphere and the food sometimes is almost like an accessory to the experience. Let me see, we moving and stuff in this thing. Okay,
My
you got
arm
it?
is itching.
All right, I got it.
Mm.
So so yeah, 1947 road, I would recommend it. Yesterday, so we took an Uber because the only thing is that, you know, it's like a lot of car guards. You got to try, there's just informal car guards and trying to find a place to park. And we had already gone in 1947, I guess earlier last week.
Yeah.
And we were like, nah, it's easier to just to catch an Uber and jump out in the front than to, you know, deal with that. But let me make sure I put this link in the thing for anybody that want to jump on and run it with us. But I do want to take a moment, and I hate to get serious because I know people, Dr. Yellen was trying to sell us loans last week. Who's Dr. Yellen? Can you look at him? Just gave us $6 in raw range. Shout out to that brother, man. Thank you, man. That's our first super chat.
Sweet.
That's our first super chat, man. I love y'all, man. I sure appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much. Dr. Saad, do you know Dr. Sebi? And what's your take on him? I'll give him a second. Can you call my name and my surname? No. People already talking about me. You know what I'm saying? Why you want to do that? I think it was man, okay, so just yesterday, the lady told me, so like the lady from whatchamacallit, Kings of Joburg, her name is spelled Buhle. And I thought that was like Bewley, like that, like a Behuli. But they say when you see the HLE, it's a sound, like a sound. So her name is I don't know. They messed me up. They threw me off, man. Because I'm like, how am I supposed to know that the HLE is supposed to make a whole different, like, phonetic, it's a whole different phonetic pronunciation. How am I supposed to know that? But and then she told us when you see the X, it's a sound. Did she say that?
She did, I believe.
Yeah, she said when you see the X, it's a sound.
I don't know if it was quite that.
Yeah, she was trying to explain.
Like, it's kind of in the cheek a little bit more.
Is it like that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Y'all, that is like a completely different use of our mouths and
that's
for language. And that's
there's certain things you can get, but you know,
so much harder with
a
whole lot of practice.
That's gonna have somebody sit down with me.
New ways.
Yeah, because it's not even there's not even like a comparable sound to it in American English. It's like when we were learning Arabic, and they have two letters in Arabic. One is called Ain, and the other one's called Kain. Ain, Kain. And it took me forever to get those letters because it's like, that ain't no sound we make in English. Kain.
Yeah, very guttural.
Yeah, all in your throat. Every time I say it, I just want to cough. But let me see. Man, okay, so let me go back. Somebody asked me, oh, Dr. Sebi. No, I don't know. I know Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi was a Muslim before he went off and did his thing. He was a follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I think you know. So you want me to got my honest opinion? I love Black people who have a voice, who stand out, who say some stuff, and who believe, he believe in like natural cures and remedy. But the whole idea about mucus and that stuff, yeah, bro, that's not like you got Black doctors and scientists that you can use to kind of refute some of that information. Some of it is good. Eating natural, that's good. Fruits and vegetables, that's good. He's spot on with that. But some of the other stuff he talked about, and that's what I'm saying, like, as much as I love Black folk and I love outspoken Black folk, we always, as a intellectual, right? As an intellectual and a philosopher, the first step of being an intellectual is skepticism, right? So when I look at something here, my thought is critical examination. So I like Dr. Sebi, and I don't want to critique the brother and just be like, everything he said was wrong, but I'm not on that boat where everything he said is right. And I'm not on the boat everything anybody says is right. I can't think of
what's difficult about some of this
What's
is
that?
that you look at the followers of some folks and they still dying like everybody else dying. My grandmother is 96 or 7.
Mm-hmm. Ate all kind of pork chops.
Man.
Ate all kind of pork
Chitlins,
chops, chitlins.
pork,
Yeah.
sweets all day.
You can't beat
was-
genetics.
Man, so I'm just saying, she
Can't
didn't
beat
follow,
genes.
she had a long life.
And she's still
So I'm
alive.
like,
Mhm.
you know,
My mama just turned 84 today. Today is my mama's birthday. And she probably eating pork right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't eat
it
pork.
wasn't on
but
the
that's a
raw
really-
diet.
What? No.
They wasn't on
But
none
there
of
was
that.
not. They grew up in a much more physical world, right?
Right.
Where they were
Right.
doing stuff, farming and moving around. They wasn't sitting on computers all day. They was walking and all that type of stuff. And they was drinking water. And there was a lot of the time they was getting their food from people who actually grew it and not going to the store. Like
Right.
actually going pick up the chicken. He actually is still alive before they get it. You know what I mean? So it's a different.
But they came of age in a time where junk food became available and all kind of processed foods became available.
Kind of soda, but when you think about our parents, they was full grown when that happened. We coming up in the 80s when it's
From
prevalent. From childhood. These people was adults, 30 years old before that stuff became 30 and 40 years old before it became prevalent. So, but yeah, let me just say, I like Dr. Sebi. I think he has some interesting stuff to say. So
somebody said that's how we feel about English, right?
Yeah.
Any new language, just like I'm not used to saying things like that.
And English is a very confusing language. Like, the 3 different types of words for pair, or the 3 different meanings and spellings of the phonetic word pair, or taught, T-A-U-G-H-T, that O-U-G-H-T, that sound, or whatever have you. So anyway, changing the narrative. Okay, Europeans were the first based person's entire work on skin color. Before that, people were known by where they came from. Facts. We finally got some rain in Joburg. Ooh, that was nice though, wasn't it?
Wasn't it?
Man, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah.
It's been hot and dry.
You might say you sound like you about to spit. Not yelling at the former IS Federal Reserve
Janet
Chair
Yellen?
who was visiting RSA last week. Oh, okay. What South African language are you interested in learning? And what's your progress? I'm interested in learning Zulu because he said if you learn Zulu, you could understand a few other languages. They said, so maybe it was a Zulu person that told me that,
right?
Because I know they might be a little biased. They're like, yeah, you need to learn Zulu. So I need to, I want to learn Zulu. I got to give myself some time. I'm doing a few things right now, finishing up this book and working on this presentation that we have at.
I started with Duolingo, but I fell
Oh
off,
yeah, you
y'all.
did.
I was at it every day for like 5 days. And then I fell off.
Everyone's metabolism is different. Facts. I agree with Adrienne. My granny is 104, still kicking it, ate pork and drank vodka every day. Yeah, I don't think ain't no doctor finna prescribe that though. I'm just messing with changing it at stage, but yeah, that's real. Like them old people different. If they was born in 1930, before or 1939, 1940 or before, they built different. Yeah. Them baby boomers, they built different. Yeah, they built different. They might leave some of us. We might leave a lot of them here with the way we get down and the stuff that we're willing to do to our bodies. Yeah. It's the chemicals in the food. Exactly. It is the chemicals in the food. It is true, man. The food, especially in the US, man, that food is listen, we talked about bread yesterday. And this is the God honest truth. I would in the States, I could go buy Nature's Own, was the name of the bread brand that I buy. I would buy brown bread, right? Mm-hmm. And I would buy that 1 week, and I wouldn't have to buy bread maybe for 2 weeks. It would last. right? It took a long time for bread. I don't think I've ever seen bread in the States mold because we probably would use it. But I mean, it would 2 weeks is easy.
Yeah. It's guaranteed
Easy.
to last 2 weeks. Guaranteed.
Easy. I bought some bread over here on Monday. By Wednesday, it was molded. I ain't saying no, but it
definitely like 5 or 6
days,
days.
yeah, you start
done.
seeing them
It's
little
like-
dots on it, little green dots. You be like, damn, I just bought this bread. But that's because it ain't full of preservatives. It ain't full of the well, I guess it's salt or sodium is what they put in the bread products to keep it, lasting longer. And that's gotta be a problem for your system, right? Eating McDonald's. You ever you went through the drive-through at McDonald's, right? And you reach your hand over in that bag and you grab a fry, you put that fry in your mouth, and then 2 of them happen to fall, and it fall in between the crack of your seat. And by the time you get home, you forgot those fries were in between the crack of your seat. Then 3 weeks later, you decide to wash your car and clean your car out, and you find those fries and they look just like they came out the McDonald's drive-through when you got them. They ain't got a lick of mold or nothing. Potatoes mold. What kind of food is that? That ain't no real food, man. And that's what Dr. Sebi was telling us. He wasn't lying about that. We got to get back to natural food, like some fruits and vegetables straight out your own garden. I didn't realize bananas had seeds until I saw a white man on the TikTok and he showed me a natural banana from somewhere in South America. And he was like, look at it. This is a banana. And I was like, yeah, that's a banana. And he peeled it and he bit it and they had big old brown seeds. And I said, well, goddamn.
Huh? I don't think I've ever seen
They got seeds in the bananas. Man, our banana's been genetically modified to be seedless. I ain't never seen a seed in a banana. Watermelon. Remember that when I was growing up, you get your watermelon and you cut that thing open and you just have to have like a little cup on the side. So you take a little bite.
Yeah, all those seeds.
Spit the seeds out. Not gonna try to find a watermelon with some seeds in it in the States. All of them seedless, and they be sweet. They have bred the watermelons to be just like sugary sweet. So I don't even know if it's healthy. You think, oh well, I'm eating a piece of watermelon. This is a fruit. It's not too bad, is it? Man, you get the watermelon. I'll go to Tasha's and Melrose up sometimes, and when I get my little fruit salad bowl, they put 2 pieces of watermelon on top. And they still have the little seeds or whatever, but at the same time, it's not as sweet. It's still sweet, but it's not sweet like that stuff in the States. That stuff in the States full of sugar. They didn't breed that specifically to I don't know. But anyway, I done got off on a tangent.
Man, all the way off on
the
the tangent.
English can be confusing. Man, my granny was born in 1919. Gee! Wow.
My grandparents born 1919, 1920, but they're gone. They've been gone.
Yeah, my grandfather was born in 1895. Now look at that. But I ain't never met him. He was dead.
Old.
Yeah, he died of a massive heart attack before I was
old.
born. But that was my mama's dad. My mama's 84 today. So think about that. She's 84 today. Her daddy was born in 1895. And my big mama was born in 1905. Now I did meet her. That's the oh Lord, it's my daddy calling me. Lord, I can't. I'm gonna call it back. Call it back. Yeah, let me call him.
Call you back.
I'm gonna
now
call
you've been trying to call him for how long now?
Yeah, but I talked to him the other day.
Oh, okay, good. I was gonna say now he want to call.
Right, he might be watching.
He might be.
We'll call you right back. We'll call you right back.
He watches the YouTube. I don't know.
No, he ain't watching. YouTube. All right, so I want to get to some of these comments. Also, if you learn Sesotho, you automatically understand Setswana, Sepedi, and vice versa. Okay. Okay, my dad said okay. English can be confused. Adrienne will do well in Zulu. Yeah. My grandfather passed at 100 years old eating umbubo and meat only. I do think we ought to be careful of what we eat these days. Yep. Food food are fake these days. Facts. Polo, Zulu, Xhosa, Mbele, and Swatiti are basically different dialects of the same language. That's the Nguni people. All right. Sorry, I forgot to add Eswatini. Oh no, that's not what that's saying. Not what that's saying.
What are you?
I'm
Isi Swati.
it's Swati and Isi
Yeah, Ndebele.
Ndebele language, which is automatically understanding if you learn Isulu, Isi Zulu, and vice versa. Doc, people have McDonald's they have kept for 5 years and it still looks okay. So how is your body supposed to digest this stuff? We are blessed people to live this long. Facts. I saw this thing that the woman every year she opens up the McDonald's burger that she bought like 5-6 years ago, and she just shows it, and it's like it has it molded. It's just weird. You know, it's not food. Yes, learn Zulu. You understand? Other four. All right, who gonna teach me Zulu? I want me a teacher. I want. Low shedding.
Oh,
The number about to drop now. Low shedding.
oh,
We could tell by the way the thing move over here. So watermelons have seeds in Limpopo, natural bodies. They cook natural foods. They cook it. I say my grandfather was born in 1889 and died in 1981. Wow. But she loved chewing that blue ribbon chewing tobacco. What was it about old people and chewing tobacco? I had a great aunt who loved some chewing tobacco and used to hold it like a little old coffee can, tin can,
oh God.
and be spitting that black nasty stuff into the can and to put it right here. She didn't do the whole tobacco. She did snuff, whatever it's called. It's like the grinded up stuff. And she put it right here.
Oh.
And sit there and spit in the can. But I want to talk. Oh, look, we jumped in numbers. I thought we was gonna lose people, but maybe everybody don't live alone here. All right, so look, y'all, I want to talk briefly because I hate to get serious, but if you've been watching the news from the States, Tyree Nichols, y'all, if you saw the video, I didn't watch the video. I'm gonna let you know I didn't watch the video because I don't need to re-traumatize myself, right? But for those who are not familiar with the story, 5 Black cops, African-American cops, beat an African-American motorist who they pulled over for driving reckless. They beat him up. So initially they pulled him out of his car for no reason. And he did run because, man, you get scared when you got people trying to pepper spray you. And then so he took off running. Wasn't a criminal. He was worked for FedEx, full-time job. He was an intelligent person, a skateboarder, wasn't a thug or nothing like that. And it doesn't matter. Even if he was a thug, he didn't deserve to die. But he ran. And when they caught him, they pepper sprayed him. They beat him. They said he was handcuffed and picked him up and just used him as a punching bag. And like 5 African-American cops, 2 days later or so, he died. Now, those cops have since been arrested, but and charged with like murder and a whole bunch of other things. But the issue is they recently released a video Friday. And the way they did it was like it was a countdown to a movie or something. The video is coming out today, you know, to show this this just graphic occurrence that took place. And I just want to say to any African-American that may be listening, listen, how many times can we continue this cycle of trauma, right? How many times can we just, with gluttonous efficiency, as I said on my YouTube post, with gluttonous efficiency, just internalize this trauma and this white supremacy, and just, you know, we have a few marches and protests, and that's just enough to empty out, to purge, to have this what is it? Release part. Oh, there goes Sandele. This release and this purge, just enough for them to re-traumatize us again. We have a whole continent that we can be at. But even if we don't want to come to Africa, man, that's a big old world out there. We don't have to keep going through
I don't think they're doing this in Thailand.
Man, listen, it's a big old world. Get out of there. I'm telling you, at some point, it just becomes the fact that if you choose to stay, you are choosing to accept your second-class citizenship. You're choosing to accept to maybe volunteer to be the next, right? Your presence is like volunteering to be the next. What's up, Sandile?
Hey, Doc, what's up? I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. You ain't got no you load shedding?
No, I'm not. I'm just sitting in the dark. I love sitting in the dark sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Can you
Save that on that light bill, boy. You at work?
No, I'm home. I'm
Oh,
at
that look
home.
like a
No?
work shirt.
No, it's
Oh.
just
Oh,
he
it
just has
is a
his
work
collar
shirt.
pop.
Yeah, it got his collar pop. That look like that working man, working at that factory or something. You know what I'm saying? What's been going on with you though, bro?
No, I mean, we're good. And you? That's
Good.
just been
Who
working.
you
More
work for
work.
Corona? That's Corona?
No? Yeah, it is
He's like,
Corona.
why are you calling it out? I'm trying to.
Because it's free. It's free advertising. I just realized.
Oh, my bad. Oh, don't worry about it. We'll talk later.
I mean, it's your channel. It's your channel after all. So like it's just free advertising.
I was just saying, can you hook us up next time we have the meetup? We're gonna pass out free Corona.
Yeah, it's possible.
Some sponsorship.
So man, I know it was fall yesterday for you. I saw your message. You were saying it's kind of fall.
Yeah.
Come from
It's about maybe like 50 to 55 miles away. That's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
So I was like, come on. I mean, see, I could do Joburg, like Rosebank, Sentin. Maybe Soweto if we doing it like at 9, 10-ish in the morning and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I can do. But 2 p.m. in Soweto from the northern side of PTA, that's a bit of a stretch. But
journey.
And then you got to go back, after all that.
You have to recommend a restaurant in Pretoria.
Yeah.
We can do one in Pretoria one day.
I'm not. Do you guys think you have more people this side compared to Johannesburg?
Say what?
Do you think you know more people this side as compared to Johannesburg? I don't know. Have you?
No, but I mean, like, listen. The thing about it is, if 2 people show up, the Bible say, "Was the 2 or 3 are gathered in my name," right? And whether 2 or 3 people show up, you're still doing what you're doing. You're still being intentional about supporting or whatever have you. So
Sure.
Yeah. So I ain't tripping.
We want to do an impromptu one in Cape Town when we go.
We're supposed to be in Cape Town this weekend. Yeah, so for those watching, we're supposed to be in Cape Town this weekend. So we'll like on the day we'll leave, or the day we land, I should say, which is probably the same day we leave. We'll maybe do a little live and then try to figure out the place we want to meet up. So
sure. It's all good. So I'll try and get a spot this side and then let you guys know. And we can have something this side.
Cool.
Oh yeah, man, let us know.
We used to have signatures here, but it closed down. I don't know why.
I didn't know that.
Well,
Somebody told me. I'm about to say, I'm sorry, bro, but my partner Stuart told me, Stuart from SA, and he was like, "Doc, no, not signatures." He was like, "You got to come down, man. Come down." He's like, "That's too expensive, man. Come down."
Nah, it's not that. It's not that bad. I mean, it's. I think it's okay. It's not that bad.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's that bad. We used to have another black-owned fried chicken place, but it also closed down some time back. It was like a local
fried chicken place closed down. Man, I ain't never heard that in my life. Black people love fried chicken.
I have a lot of
I think this was
for fried chicken here, though.
I don't know, man.
Here for fried chicken.
Fried chicken and black people, that's like a match, man. That's like a winning combination that you can't. I don't know how you mess that up. They have to compete
with like some big brands here already.
Yeah, but I think maybe. Sorry, you saying?
No, go ahead, go ahead. I'm about to say something silly. Go ahead.
No. I'm just saying maybe because it was quite small and not really well funded. Maybe that's why it closed down. They tried to
Yeah.
franchise it, and I don't think it ever left the city. I don't remember it being outside of this city. So
Oh,
I don't know what happened to it. So yeah, but yeah.
definitely.
But when you guys come back from Cape Town, let me know, and we could. There's a place. I think it's quite similar to where you guys went in Soweto.
Okay.
It's like it's one street with just a couple of eating places. Mamelodi, that's where it is. So we could go there. Yeah, it
All right, man. I'm
should
about
be
it. You know
fun.
I'm about it. We're just gonna be there for the
Yeah.
weekend because Dr. James Bennett coming Tuesday. Coming
Yeah.
Tuesday,
Oh, yeah.
and then we go leave on probably Thursday, fly out there, and then turn right back around, be back on Sunday. They just wanted to go. They've been there before, I think, or maybe they haven't. Yeah, I don't know.
What?
I don't
In Cape
know.
Town?
Yeah, so they just want to check it. I don't know if they've been there before or not. I can't remember. But it's
Yeah.
gonna be a quick trip, like bam, 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 just
Oh,
like
yeah.
that, turn around.
But
Yeah.
which part? Which part of Cape Town are you guys gonna be in?
Who knows?
Fly along.
We about to fly out there and figure out where we're gonna stay when we get there. You know, I mean, it'll probably be. I think we saw something in what's that? Is that Richards Bay or something? It
Yeah,
was
that's my
a
city. It can't
Airbnb.
be. That's my home city. So it can't be Richards Bay.
No,
It's not Richards Bay?
It's a whole different city, is what he's saying.
Oh no, it's
Yeah.
what's the bay? They got a bay out there or something. It was a
I
really
don't know.
nice. I don't know. It's a really nice spot. If I can find it, I'll tell you. But
Camps Bay?
Camps Bay.
Hmm.
That's what it was.
Cat Bay or
Yeah.
Cas Bay? Which one is it?
I think it was Camps Bay, and I even
Camps
looked it up.
Bay.
It's like home sitting on the water. It's like
Oh
they got
yeah,
it's
that's a
almost
nice
like a
spot.
peninsula. They got So
Yeah, that's a
we
nice
saw.
spot. I went cycling in Cape Town, the entire city. It's really quite more nice on a bicycle as opposed to a car.
Oh,
Yeah,
all
it took
right,
me 5
cool,
hours.
man.
Took me
It took you 5
5 hours to
hours.
finish. Yeah, to finish the whole city.
Wow.
Yeah,
Was it
I went.
like a race? Like a was it just you
Yeah.
by yourself, or it was a race?
God, no. It's like an annual thing that happens in Cape Town around March.
Okay.
Yeah, so the entire city gets open to guys on bicycles, and yeah, go around the whole city. It's quite nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like an hour in, I'd be about over.
Yeah, I'm not doing
Cycling.
nothing like that, man. I'm out of shape.
About an hour in?
I'm out of shape, man.
Yeah, no.
Cape Town's not flat either.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like inclines. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
make
yeah.
sure Sarah Jane, I see you. You want to jump on, Sarah Jane?
Hi guys, how are you?
All right, what's going on? I didn't want to keep you just
Nothing
on that
much.
quiet.
Just-
I wouldn't-
No, it's okay. I actually just have a question about the incident that occurred, obviously, in America. It was black cops that actually caused the issue. So initially, I mean, from an outsider's perspective, not in the US, we initially thought it was a race thing, like white cops treating the blacks, in a inhumane way. But the fact that it's black cops, like, how does that, like, I'm trying to understand, is it a cop thing? Is it a race thing? I'm just trying to understand where it comes from.
It is,
obviously,
so go ahead, sister. I'm gonna let you finish.
Yeah, so like for me, it's initially, like I said, sorry, my dogs just making a noise here. For me, I'm just trying to understand it from a like, is it a cop thing, or is it like the way the cops were taught to treat the people, or what exactly is it? I'm just trying to understand it from my side.
So there's some textures and layers to it. So first of all, it's police training, right? So you can just, in general, so let's go back to the history of what policing in the United States, like the origins of policing in the United States. The origin of policing in the United States is groups of white militia who were set out to find runaway slaves. So from the very beginning of policing in the United States, it has been the antithesis of Black liberation and Black freedom. So that is baked into the DNA, right? It is written into the DNA of policing in America. So even if you remove white faces and replace them with Black faces, that's what systemic racism is all about. The output of the system is still racist. Now, for these Black cops, it's some great quotes by James Baldwin, several quotes by James Baldwin from the 60s on Black police officers and their expression of power coming from a powerless people trying to prove that they're Black, but they're not Black like you, right? So it's a lot of internalized racism and white supremacy, internalized self-hate, and then flat out gangsterism. If you pay attention, I just saw what they played on the news. I didn't watch the whole video, but if you listen to how they're talking to that brother, they're talking to him like gangsters talk to people that they're assaulting in the street, you know, and then they use those key words to begin to build their own defense. Stop resisting. There's a white cop on TikTok. I hope you guys, I don't even know his name, but he talks, he's a former police officer, spent like 20 years on wherever he was in the United States. And now he's more liberal in his thoughts and his process thinking. And he was like, we're taught in the academy to say, stop resisting. That's because witnesses, right? And when those witnesses get on the stand, they can say, yeah, the cop was telling him to stop resisting. But how do you stop resisting when someone is literally assaulting you and beating you and tasering you and spraying you with pepper spray? So on that video, you can hear them cursing him and talking to him in a very gangster type way. And then they mix that in with their cop training of, stop resisting, stop resisting, so that they can build their defense. So when someone views the thing, they can say, oh, he was resisting or whatever have you. But this was a result of, is it the nature of policing in the United States is brutal to particular groups of people, Black people, brown people, Black trans people get killed. Black trans people get killed, whether I agree with that lifestyle and what I'm Muslim, so I'm very but I don't think anybody deserves to die behind their lifestyle, right? And Black trans people get killed at alarming rates in the United States, worse than Black straight men, right? So so I don't know if that answers your question, but it's really a combination of so many things. It's a combination of policing in America and the way the doctrine of policing. It's the way the police are trained, and it's Black police officers who come from a powerless class of people who then exert power against their powerless brethren in ways that are often vicious and malicious and malignant and violent. I'm telling you, you ask a lot of Black folks, some of them be like, I don't know which I want to see. I want to see a Black cop or a white cop. I don't know. I just want to see him.
Yeah,
I don't want to see him at all. There was an Asian cop that was with George Floyd. He stood around and watched. So I don't know who I want to see. I don't know.
Yeah, it's quite from a South African perspective. I find it hard to understand, but I understand it from a race perspective. Like when we were younger, or obviously the history of this country, the Afrikaans policemen, and that it was a race thing. You know what I'm saying? It was the white cops against the revolutionaries and stuff like that. But for it to be like Black cops against, like, I don't know, I struggle to understand it, to be honest with you. And like you said, it's a cop thing, obviously, the way the system has driven them, but it's very difficult. I mean, one would think that a Black cop wouldn't do that to a Black person, if that makes sense.
You would think they would be like more understanding and considerate and patient and say, brother, what's going on? Look, brother. That's not how that works.
It's difficult, I guess, because I don't get it. Like, it just means that it's really like the systemic racism is so deep that even the Black people in the cops are that bad against their own people. I don't know. That makes sense to me. I'm sorry. I struggle to understand it. Like I said, I've been trying to watch some of the news stories, and initially I thought it was again a white cop against, but then when I started hearing it was 5 Black cops, I'm like, but that makes no sense. You know the issues that the country has been experiencing, and for you being a cop, you should be one of the different people against your own people. That's how I would see it. So,
and I'm gonna tell you, here's the layers to it. Here's the other part of the layers, right? So often in the past, when a Black person was killed by the police officers, most of the time they were white police officers killing Black killing Black people. We would have to beg for the videos to be released. We would have to protest. We would have to have all kind of news coverage. Release the video. We need to see it. And then it would take 2-3 months to release the video. And those cops are still on the job. Then they would just get suspended at first while they would do an internal investigation. And that investigation may take another 2 or 3 months. And then if charges were, then a lot of times charges were not brought against them. But then the times that they would have charges brought against them. They would go to court. It wouldn't be like a significant charge, and they would be released on bail and at home with their families. I don't care about these 5 Black cops. I don't care about them. I'm not on their side at all. But I can recognize when there's a hypocritical situation taking place. These 5 Black cops were immediately arrested, fired, and put in jail. Immediately.
Yeah.
So the system, it's an immediate reminder that you can't play the games that white folks play. No, not in America. Just because you dressed in that blue with that badge on, you are not them. And they reminded them of that swiftly, right?
And that's the case in every facet of America. Corporate America,
right.
You're not gonna get away with the same stuff. Black politicians will never get away with the same stuff.
Never.
So the things that we do to try to become adjacent to whiteness,
right,
doesn't work.
We don't. There's a different set of rules for Black Americans than it is for white Americans, and it's a different set of rules for all Americans than it is for white Americans, right? Asian Americans may get away with something different, but they can't get away with the same stuff that white Americans can get away with. Black Americans, period. And I just want Black Americans who may be watching the channel right now. Again, as I said before, Africa may not be your destination. It is your home, but it may not be your destination. But you do not have to stay there and continue to be traumatized and re-traumatized and victimized and re-victimized for generation after generation. And your only excuse is that my grandparents were slaves here and they fought for the country. What good is that for your children? What good is that for your grandchildren? It just makes no sense. There's a big old world out here. Go ahead.
Do you think with this specific incident, anything might make a difference or change, or do you is this like another one of those cases? Like we've heard all the names that have all the men and women that have been killed. Do you think they'll make some form of change this time around? Because I mean, the whole names keep coming up and people keep saying the names, of all these guys that have been killed, erroneously or whether it was supposed to be done or not. Do you think they will make any change at this point in time?
No. That's I mean, listen, they go back to Rodney King. They caught them people on tape beating this man. And that was what, in the 80s? 90s? They was beating the hell out of him, beating the crap out of Rodney King, caught it on tape, and then people went home. They went to trial and went home. Man retired from the police force. This is systemic. This is part of the DNA of policing in the United States. The only thing that can change it is like total destruction and a rebuilding of an entire new system of public safety. Yeah. Right. That's the only way to change it. You can't, it's like, I don't know, you can't take it and try to take a system that is built so corruptly and with so much bias built into it, and then try to course correct after 100 years. It just won't work, And
now they're pulling police from old soldiers that were in Iraq.
That's another thing, yeah.
In Afghanistan, people that have been in war zones are now coming and serving in police forces. So I don't think you're gonna get Officer Smiley.
No. It's just not going to work. And if you see some of the equipment that police officers have, it's like old stuff that the military no longer uses. So they have their own versions of tanks and body armor and what you call them, like dogs, not real dogs, but mechanical dogs, and all kind of just strange stuff to police. And that's not really what policing is about, right? You're supposed to go catch bad guys. I understand that, but I don't know, man. Listen, that's been the existence of Black folk in America since the end of slavery. And that's just what it is. I see Brother Josie on here. What's going on, Brother Josie? I know he got something to say.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you, brother.
Yeah, how you guys doing?
We good, family.
Yeah, greetings to everybody in the chat, and of course, over here on what is this thing called again? Zoom.
Zoom.
Look, it's great. It's great seeing you guys again. Like, I haven't spoken to you guys in a while. Congrats on the company, like what you guys are doing.
Thank you, brother.
On the situation with the cops in America, it's a sad thing to hear. Like, it's unfortunate. I really hope they could at least calm it down someday. But I don't really have a lot to say. I just wanted to speak to you guys. So yeah.
Oh man, I appreciate it. Peace, brother. I just want, well, those who are still on, I don't know. After the end of apartheid, when obviously policing changed, because we see far more Black police officers now. I don't think I've seen a white police officer. No, I don't think so.
Maybe like private security.
Private security. So how did that change? How did the relationship between the people and police change post-apartheid?
Can I come in?
Yeah, go ahead, jump ahead, saying Dilly.
Yeah,
I'm gonna jump off camera for 1 second.
I think just before I get to answer, or just to, I think I've got a question for you. Just going back to what happened in the US. Do you then think that the outrage is solely based on the fact that these were policemen, but we see day-to-day black on black violence, and the outrage is not the same?
Man, you know what? I've been preaching for the longest about black on black violence. But black on black violence, you will hear like people point out that we don't hear the terminology white on white violence, and most white people, over 80% of white people, are victimized by other white people. So it is proximity violence, right? Neighborhood violence, neighbors against neighbors, and people who are victimized by people who are closest to them. However, that doesn't excuse or take away the responsibility of Black people to stop killing Black people. I understand. So there's a lot when we talk about internalized racism and internalized white supremacy, which displays itself in the levels of self-hate that we see. Self-hate displays itself in so many ways. It can display itself with people not liking the color of their skin. I'm too dark. I need to be lighter. I want my hair to look this way, or blah, 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 blah. Or it can display itself in a vicious and a violent dislike for someone who looks just like you. And those actions play out in the streets with guns and violence. Then you loop in poverty, right? You loop in very poor educational systems in Black and brown communities, in particular Black communities. Drugs, right? We don't manufacture any of the drugs or any of the guns that come into the community. Yet I can tell you personally, I can go anywhere in the city of New Orleans and find an AK-47, right? So those are some of the things that I don't make excuses. I believe in personal responsibility. At the end of the day, if you pull the trigger to kill another Black person, then that's on you, and you belong in jail. You become the enemy of Black people. When you kill a Black person, you become the enemy of Black people, right? But with that being said, I know it's far more complicated and complex, the way we arrived at where we are today. This wasn't a straight path. This was a very loopy drive to get us here. And it's unfortunate. So, but with that being said, to respond to your question, brother, man, there's so many organizations that are outraged over of the killings of Black people. New Orleans is a city that is a Black city. 70%, a Black person in New Orleans has a 70% chance, higher
point
chance
out
of being killed. I'm sorry, let me mute this brother. A 70% higher chance of being killed by homicide or being killed than anywhere else in the United States. And there are Black folk in that city who are outraged. They screaming at city council meetings. They doing all kind of stuff to draw attention to this murderous wave that is taking place over the city. And it's the same in St. Louis, right? There's a lot of sensationalism that takes place when it's a police officer, because police officers are sworn to protect and serve. Right. And finally, when Black people kill other Black people, we go to jail. And I used to work in the prisons. The prison's full of Black folk who can kill other Black people. It's no gangster union that comes out and starts a GoFundMe and now they got $2 million for a defense fund. No. When Black people break the law and kill each other, they end up in jail. These police officers often don't. And I think that's part of the outrage. Now we know that these police officers are in jail, but with that being said, it's part right now we're in an environment where we're just 2 years or 3 years out of George, not even a full 3 years outside of George Floyd, where the whole world watched the police, the state, because the police represent the state, right? They protect and serve the people, but they represent the state. They are the enforcement arm of the state government, right? Well, we watched the state kill a man on TV, and it played out for the whole world to see. And you would think that if these police officers and these police departments were aware and serious about change, that this wouldn't happen again now. But there's been 2 or 3 deaths since then. Maybe even more. I mean, 2 or 3 ones that kind of rattle people up since then, right? So I understand, man, it's a lot of stuff going on, man, but I do think that at the end of the day, if Black folk continue to stay in the US, it's kind of the decision that they're making to continue to participate in that system with all of its problems. Sarah Jane, you got your hand up, and then I see Emmanuel, but I got a strong name.
Okay, so look, with South Africa and its policing, obviously we know that it had a history of white people obviously being the policemen, but I think because our country is slightly different, the majority is Black people. A lot of Black people became policemen and colored people became policemen. I think the issue in our country is because of our state being corrupt, I think it filtered down to the people that ran things like policing, and our criminals got away with stuff where they end up buying cops or buying their cases and stuff like that, and they don't end up in getting the justice that they deserve. So I think that's the difference. I won't say there's a lot of white people that are, I can't say if white people are still policemen. A lot of them went into private security on their own. I've seen that happen a lot. But what I would say is the culture in South Africa, unfortunately, has changed where people don't necessarily respect the government because of the corruption that has happened over the last 20 years or so, I would say 15, 20 years. And because of that, it's filtered into places of the state, things like policing and the justice system and those kinds of stuff, where you could buy your case basically, or you could get away with stuff that was actually quite serious crimes. So I think our system, unfortunately, although we don't have as heavy a police presence of violence, I would say that you can easily bribe a cop to get away with a crime that you shouldn't be getting away with. And the fact of the matter is, because poverty exists obviously quite largely in our country, people have taken that as even ordinary citizens have taken that as a gap to do certain things, even though they know they're not supposed to. So when you do get caught for something, you can easily bribe an official or bribe a cop or whatever the case may be. Like we always talk about cool drink money. You know what I'm saying? I think changing the narrative speaks a lot about cool drink money. Cold drink money. It's not as sometimes as simple as just 30 or 40 rand. Sometimes like they will literally drive to the ATMs and ask you to give them 3, 4, 5,000, depending on how serious the crime you've committed. So it's becoming bred in a, I would say in the normal society, it's okay to give a cop 100 or 200 rand if you get stopped and you've got a fine outstanding or stuff like that. So I think that's the difference in terms of policing in our country. I'm not saying that we must go back to the apartheid system. I'm just saying that because of the way the country has been governed and how the corruption's gotten so deep entrenched in all the state entities, people have just been like, if a cop, we're not scared of the cops, if I could put it that way. You're not necessarily afraid if you get stopped on the side of the road, because it's like, if you've got cash on you and you did do something and they find something, that might not necessarily put you in jail, if I could put it that way. You get away with it. Yeah, so that's the difference between now and the apartheid system.
So I think that sounds like the way a lot of white Americans live. They're not afraid of the police either. And they know that even if they get arrested, they may know the judge, they may know the prosecutor. They're never going to get some white people. I got a lot of poor white folk in America who don't have that opportunity. But there's a class of white folk who they've lived their whole life above the law. And whether, I mean, it was a white boy who raped an unconscious woman at Stanford or something, at one of them real Ivy League schools or something. I think his name was Brock or somebody, but his people were connected. And I think he got like probation or something crazy, something outrageous, like a rape charge. And he went home. I know two white female teachers who were accused of having sex with a student. And one of the teacher's father was a judge and they got probation, right? Yeah. And there are Black folk who are sitting in jail and, 20 years and the DNA evidence finally comes out and absolves them and exonerates them of the crime, but they wouldn't give that benefit of the doubt back in the day. So it's a lot of weird stuff going on. I'm gonna see I got Emmanuel and Talele. But Emmanuel, and then we see Josie Gold too. So Emmanuel.
Everybody's off camera today.
Yeah, I'm about to get off camera. It's gonna be a black screen.
Assalamu alaikum, doctor. Assalamu alaikum, doctor.
Wa alaikum assalam. Hey,
sir. How are you guys doing tonight?
Alhamdulillah, we can't complain, brother. We living in Johannesburg, South Africa, man. I'm telling you, it's way. Yeah. Y'all see what they doing in the States? Shit.
Yeah, but what's happening in the States is actually systematic racism, all right? Most people will actually try to say it is crime as a normal crime. It is not that. It is like state-sponsored, actually,
State-sponsored terrorism, exactly.
Exactly. Because when you ask like simple questions, why do certain people own prisons? All right. And then how do you profit when you own a prison? You sponsor crime so that there will be supply of prisoners to your jail. All right. It's simple as that. Like it doesn't need somebody with a master's degree to actually determine something like that. And then by the state, by the government to actually allow people to own a private prisons, that actually it is a very much dangerous thing. The government should be the one owning prisons and should actually should have mechanisms in place to actually keep away young people from entering the prison systems, meaning that they should have like social welfare programs, like sports programs or stuff like that, which will channel the youth to sports, music, arts and culture programs, like skills development, things like that, But when they allow somebody to actually own a private prison, what it actually means is that where will the clients come from, or the products in the prisons, where will they come from? Somebody will have to sponsor crime. Then,
Go ahead, brother. I want to add that even government-owned prisons, for instance, in New Orleans, in Louisiana, there's a prison called Hunt Correctional Facility, right? It's like the second largest prison in the state of Louisiana. It is right outside of a city called Gramercy. The prison, all right, so there's 1,000 employees at the prison. So that's jobs. Then there are these like supportive industries that come around the prison, right? So there's nothing in Gramercy before they build this prison. They build the prison, you have employees at the prison, then they build a gas station for people who have to ride and stop and get gas. And next thing you know, they build a fast food restaurant. They build a hotel for people who are coming in town from far away and they're visiting their relatives who are locked up and they got to go see them on a Sunday. So they come in on a Saturday, need a place to stay, right? So all of these other supportive kind of industries happen when they build this prison, which is very disturbing, you know, but that's part of the way capitalism works.
Yeah.
And why capitalism, when we examine and critique white supremacy, you cannot leave out capitalism, at least in the American context, right? Because as I always say, we were the first capital. When they started talking about capitalism, Black Americans were the capital that was being traded and moved around. We were the capital. So, but all of these systems, right? And the reason why prison is important because Black folks fill the prisons. There were places that, man, there's this great map, and if I could find it, I'll put it up on YouTube that shows like states like Iowa that are like 90 some odd % white, and they would show like where white people and Black people lived, and it was color coded, and then in these very white areas, like 90% white, 95% white, they would everything around it, like, so I'd say like the colors for white people were red and the color for Black people was blue. And you would see like all of this red, and then in the middle of this all of this sea of red, you would see this blue dot. And they said, man, what is the blue dot? It was the state prison. Isn't that strange? Even in a place where we are overwhelmingly the minority, we still overpopulate the prisons, right?
Exactly,
But
Dr.
it's
Asad.
just where.
Yeah, that's very weird.
I'm sorry, say that one more again.
As I was saying, like, that's very weird, Doctor, because it doesn't make sense that from the east to the west, from the south to the north, like all prisons are dominated by Black people, and particularly the youth most. And
Yeah,
when you look at the crimes that they are charged with, it's just like minor stuff, like possession of weed, like things that will just destroy a young person's future, you know, for nothing. So basically that's gonna keep that young person in the system because let's say the young person does go out, all right, but he's not gonna be able to get a job elsewhere. Therefore, he will just decide to just stay and do crime to actually keep themselves, you know, to have money and stuff. So basically that's like
absolutely.
yeah. So basically
It
this
becomes a
just
cycle.
yes, exactly, doctor. Exactly. It becomes a cycle of crime that will just lead from one form of crime to the other, you know.
And watch this, it's not
And
only finding a job, when they try to rent a house, when they try to rent a place to stay,
yeah,
right? They'll ask, have they ever been
yeah,
convicted of a crime? Have they ever
Yeah.
served time in prison? So now it's hard for them to rent a place. So if they don't have family members that will take them in and allow them to live with them, they're homeless. Or and when you have the type of pressure of being homeless versus I can go and reach out to my old gangster partner who can give me some drugs, or we can go rob a store versus being homeless, it's a no-brainer at that point, right? Who
yeah.
wants to sleep on the street when you know you can? I don't excuse crime. Don't break the law, right? But I
Yeah,
understand the
nobody's
cycle
gonna
that's
want
been
to sleep on the
created for.
street, doctor. Yeah.
What'd you say, my
Nobody's
brother? I
gonna
can't.
wanna oh okay. Like I was saying, nobody's gonna wanna sleep on the street, doctor. Because like
Right. No one's gonna want to
when
sleep
you
on the
look
street.
at yeah. Like when you look at like the hip hop industry, all right, the record labels they promote like black on black violence, all right. Then the question
Absolutely.
becomes yes, and then the question becomes that who actually owns the record label, you know? And there are certain
Right.
people that we cannot mention by name You know what happened to Kanye West. You know what happened to a lot of black people when you mention particular names. You know, so basically that actually shows you even Malcolm X mentioned them by name. You know, whenever you mention them by name, it becomes a very big problem. So they promote like black on black violence, and they also sponsor like the government itself. Most of their companies and industries, they fund these political parties. The same political
I'm gonna say this,
parties.
brother.
Yeah.
Emmanuel, I'm gonna say this because I have been doing I'm obviously working on some stuff as it relates to hip hop. I don't know if you guys follow me on so on Facebook versus YouTube is a whole different Dr. Asad.
Yeah.
Dr. Asad on Facebook is for New Orleanians that I talk to who I've known all these years, and I'm critiquing my city, and I'm upset with a lot of stuff that's going on, and then a lot of Black culture. But if we go back and we look at we got to look at this thing like from a historical perspective as it relates to hip hop music and who really pushed that agenda. I don't want to absolve white people or any group for victimizing Black people, and they definitely continue to perpetuate it today. But if we go back to the original, when the gangster rap first started, there was a lady named C. Dolores Tucker, Mama Tucker. She was the president of the National Council of Negro Women. And y'all may know her name when Tupac says, "C. Dolores Tucker, you a mother instead of trying to help a N-word, you destroy your brother." Jay-Z said, "I don't care if you see Dolores Tucker or Bill O'Reilly, you only rally me up," right? So we had these, okay, so C. Dolores Tucker was actually against gangster rap. She was so brilliant, she brought shares into Time Warner, and she became a shareholder. This Black woman, this intelligent, beautiful sister who marched with Dr. King, bought shares in Time Warner. She went to their shareholders meeting and she said, "You guys cannot market nor promote this type of music." Time Warner bailed out and left Death Row Records, which at the time was huge. It was Snoop Dogg, it was Dr. Dre, left them without distribution, right? But it was Dr. Dre's, the Snoop Dogs, who were pushing this agenda, Eazy-E, who were pushing this, and Black folks were pushing back against it. You know what they did to C. Dolores Tucker? They cursed her out in music. They had people like Eminem calling her the B word and all of this stuff in their music, and they used the media to isolate and disparage this woman. All right, until when she died basically in obscurity. She wasn't broken down, but she died in obscurity, like because they presented such a narrative that was against her. Noam Chomsky has a book called Manufactured Consent, where he talks about the media being the propaganda arm of like governments or whatever have you. So the hip hop community used the media to propagate this. Go back and look at Puffy. When Puffy brought Biggie's album to MCA, right? He was on Arista. This is when he got fired from Arista. He bought Biggie's album to MCA, and Biggie's first album was called Ready to Die. And he had a song on there, "When I die, F it, I want to go to hell, because I'm a piece of SHIT, it ain't hard to effing tell." MCA said, "Man, we're not finna put that out. Not finna put that out." It was Puffy who pushed the envelope. They fired Puffy because of that album. And he went and started his own company, Bad Boy, and he decided to distribute. So we cannot absolve Black rappers and Black record executives from the role that they played in propagating this deadly, vicious, Black on Black music, Black on Black violent music, where we talk about killing each other and calling our women all kinds of B's and H's and all of that.
Doctor, tell me.
Right?
But doctor, tell me one
But anyway,
thing.
so I got riled up. I'm sorry.
All right.
No, it's fine.
Up.
Yeah, it's fine. Tell me one thing, Doc. I do understand the dynamic that you are bringing forth, right? But my question is, right? Most of the record labels are owned by a particular group of people, all right, which we cannot mention by name. The media as well is owned by the same particular nameless people. There are only few rappers out there who actually spread the message of positivity, and mostly they never actually blow out like the rest of them, because most of the medias like at MTV, your music channels, your most of your shows, they don't actually play their music, you know. They actually focus
Right.
on these other ones who actually promote black on black violence, which are sponsored by the nameless group of people.
Yeah. You're right, brother. I'm not look, they play their role, but we can't control what role they play, right? We can't control them. We control
Yeah,
us as it relates to the music we make. When,
Right.
they don't go out and tell them rappers to write that, them rappers come with a notebook full of black death murder rap and bring it to the record label. They come with that stuff already written. Them white boys ain't telling them, man, you need to write killing. Them people come there with, I'ma shoot you in your head, everybody gonna be dead, and yeah, they come with that already written. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you another thing, and then I'm gonna go to Josie Gold. I'm sorry that the other person that was on had dropped off. Before there were these big conglomerates of record companies, hip hop labels were like independent. So he had Master P. Master P's label, he owned 100% of his label, and he had an 80% distribution deal with, I believe it was Priority. I don't know. Don't quote me on who he had his distribution deal with. Cash Money Records. Y'all know Lil Wayne and Juvenile
yeah,
backed
yeah.
that thing up. They were local. I'm from New Orleans. They were local. They had no connections to any record label. They were local people, and I knew where they recorded. They recorded at a place called Festival Recording in Kenner, right? They were local rappers. Before they signed a deal with Universal for $30 million, they were moving 200 and 300 units, 2 and 300,000 units. And that's what made Universal say, yeah, let me get with these people and make some money with them. But there was no white man behind Brian Birdman Williams and them making them write the records that they were writing when they were local. And the records that they were writing when they were local was just as violent and drug filled. They had a song about Chopper City. I don't know if y'all know what a chopper is, but a chopper is an AK-47. And the reason why they call it a chopper is the way the bullets flip when they come out of the barrel, right? Looks like a chopper. That's the way the bullets flip when they come out. They were
Oh, okay.
they had a whole album called Chopper City. They were talking about, I'm gonna shoot up your Lil Wayne, when he was 13 or 14 years old, had a song that says I'm gonna shoot up your whole block will catch a fire. I'll be the block burner. So that's a block burner, is someone who will ride down your street because I'm looking for one person, but you live on this particular block. I'm gonna shoot up everything on the block. I'm gonna ride down the street and just shoot up the whole block. People that have nothing to do with you, people who may be your grandmamas and children. That's
Yeah,
the type of music that they promoted before they were
yeah.
even associated with a major record label. But let me get Josie Gold on here. And we done went from talking about police brutality to these
Yeah,
filthy rappers.
Yeah.
yeah. I need to add something. Like, I watched the documentary on Master P. That whole 80-20 deal that he had. Apparently, the label that was doing his distribution, they started adding extra fees and charges. I think that's why he left it at some point. They
Yeah.
actually started scamming him, which is shocking because he was making them a lot of money as well. And he was the one actually doing the promotion. And they started scamming him like crazy. That's why he left that deal and he went to like Universal. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing that you said earlier on was the whole thing around corruption. And a lot of people I've been speaking to, especially like people from Europe and many in America, like yourselves, like North America, over the years, one of the things they complained about is that corruption is only accessible to the few, even a few white people. And for me, over
Right.
time, I've come to the realization that if something is gonna be there, at least make it accessible to everyone. I think at some level, it equals the playing level to a certain degree. Sure, it has consequences and it can be a problematic thing, but imagine going to jail all because you just went over the speed limit of it. I think that's just a bit unfair. I mean, maybe I should just give you 50 rand and then you let me go just for that day. I mean, like, there's just certain things that I think people shouldn't go to jail for. Like, I mean, that guy's not a criminal. at least make it a bit more accessible, just for everybody. Just for me, it equals the playing level just a little bit, just a little bit. I'm not saying we should go crazy. I get that it has problems, just a little, just a little. So like we need to be careful because it's gonna be there whether you like it or not. It's gonna be there whether you like it or not.
Adrienne tell this story, and it's not really a corruption story, but we were so we had an Airbnb in New Orleans, right? And you needed to get a permit from City Hall to legally operate your Airbnb. Now, I was pretty known in my city, so I wasn't like I'm loud and I'm opinionated, and I used to run poetry shows and all kind of stuff, so people know who I am. Adrienne went down to get the permit, and she was sitting down there for about 3-4 hours. And she called me. She said, "I got to get to work. Can you come and take my place?" I walked in. The lady instantly recognized, this room full of people. The lady instantly recognized me, and I walked in. She said, "Oh, Asad, what you here for?" I said, "My wife been sitting here trying to get you." "Oh, come on to the back." And I was out of there in 30 minutes. Now, is that corruption? I had to pay her nothing, so I wasn't like, so I don't know.
You got special
treatment, but I guess it's a little bit of
that's unfair.
favoritism. So I'm with you, Joseph. I'm with you, Joseph.
It's unfair.
I'm with you. You gotta equal it out a little bit so everybody could be have a little bit of a
advantage.
I mean, just think about it in this way. Imagine only if like a certain racial group or rich racial group, only they're the only ones that can get away with stuff, but everybody else can't. Because for me, the way I see it, wherever you go in this world, there's some sort of corruption. Sure, some others, it's just not accessible to everyone. Like you can't hide it, you can't run away from it, at least at some level. It can't just be rich people or a certain racial group that benefits from it. That's just unfair. So for me, I'm South African one way, but some of it needs to stop, at least reduce it in certain things. But like for certain things, I just think like it's necessary sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, but my question is, at what point? Yeah, at what point do you look? I'm talking about like if you commit a crime, right? And I'm not talking like let's say now I have a fine outstanding or whatever, and I haven't paid it in a couple of months or whatever. It's just a fine. I'm not saying I'm a so-called criminal, so to speak, that I'm going to now go murder the next person. My point is your crime is based on the levels. I mean, you don't treat someone who's murdered somebody and someone who's speeded over the speed limit. You're not going to put that person in jail, or you're going to just, you depending on the level of criminality, so to speak. My argument that I'm saying is in South Africa at the moment, everybody is at some point being corrupt in their lives. Because I'll make an example. We all know the electricity issue in our country, and a lot of it is obviously corruption based. But as an ordinary person, I know I can get it right to chip on my electricity meter so it can run slower, so I don't have to be charged as much money for units. It's not necessarily hurting anyone else, it's helping me with my pocket. But it's actually a corrupt offense because I can pay an electrician now a certain amount of money to come run my meter slower so I don't have to pay as much money if it was running as normal. People do that. We're going to talk about that later. We'll get his number from you.
Let's talk
I have to respond.
So
I have to respond to that.
Yeah. So wait. So obviously I'm an ordinary person. It's not hurting anyone, but it's actually hurting because the fact of the matter is I'm corrupt in taking my charge for my electricity charges. So when the person that comes and reads my meter from Eskom or the City Power or whatever, they come around, they see my meters working. They're not checking if it's running fast or slow. They just see my meters working. And then they obviously take the meter readings or whatever, and they go and do their meter, they go and do their calculations. And we know that Eskom is in a situation at the moment. We know that there are people that are illegally connecting. We know all of that stuff is happening. But if you as an ordinary citizen, you're also contributing to it because now you're not really paying the true value of what you're using. Eskom's obviously losing money in their own way, number one. And number two is people that are illegally connecting. You're not really seeing the true value of how many people really need electricity because at the end of the day, when you look at it, people that are connecting on someone else's box or illegally connecting to their own situation, you understand, is causing that issue. Do you know what I'm saying? it's causing where
Yeah.
you can't do proper town planning because you don't really know how many people need electricity in that area, and you can't do proper financial checks and all those types of stuff. And I had this discussion with a friend of mine because he's currently got an illegal connection, and I actually didn't like the fact that he does. And my thing is, electricity is expensive. We all know that now. They just went up and they tried to put another tariff increase in, and whatever the case may be. And it's affecting us as ordinary people because our cost of living is rising consistently because of it. So my thing is, are you helping or are you contributing to the situation? You're not really, as an individual, you're helping your own pocket, but you're not contributing to the bigger situation. And if you are able to get past the cop by giving him a 50 Rand or 100 Rand or whatever, what makes it any better than someone who crime should be treated as an equal base. We're talking about in South Africa, yeah. In America, it's something different, but in South Africa, it's an equal base. You're not going to necessarily go sit in prison for 10 years for not paying a fine. Do you understand what I'm saying? Of maybe speeding on the road. Your crime is based on what the type of crime you committed. So if you know you did wrong, either pay your fine, you understand, so you don't get caught, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, in the normal base in South Africa, it's become such a norm to go and look for an official that you can bribe or get somebody to post something so that they can make it work in your favor. It's become such a norm. It's become a part of life. And when you want something done, a stupid example, electrical certificate for your household, for example, you just get a guy. You don't even need to get him to come and check to see if your electrical connections are correct. You pay him a couple of bucks or $1,000 or whatever, and everything's Bob's your uncle. You got a paperwork that says it's properly connected. In the meantime, you've sold a house that probably doesn't have a proper connection. Doesn't make it right. And that's my personal opinion, is so the corruption's gone so deep that ordinary people are okay with paying a cold drink money to a cop or doing those kinds of things. And then you can't really see. I think it's just become so bad because we've seen it happening with our senior officials and our government so much that it's become the norm to do it. And I don't agree with it, because you can't say that you're any less better by putting an illegal connection in your house than somebody who has stolen millions of rands from Eskom. You're not any different. You're not any better. That's how I see it.
Okay,
You're absolutely right.
respond.
And so on a serious, let me just say this, Joe, and I know you can jump in. I just want to say this. When Sarah, when you mentioned, like someone selling the house with a legal electrical certificate, right? No, so I don't know if New Orleans is the best example of the United States. It's not. It is the most corrupt place. It operates much like, you can probably pay a cold drink money to a police officer in New Orleans, right? They don't call it cold drink, but you can get away with that type of stuff. Public intoxication, there's actual laws on the book, but since no one follows them, you can walk around the street drunk with alcohol in your hand, all that stuff. But when you mention that electrical certificate, I want to say that about 2 years ago, maybe 3, they were building a huge hotel downtown called the Hard Rock Hotel. And the people had city is supposed to send out inspectors to see if this building is built right and if they have the up to code and all that good stuff. Well, the inspectors were on the take, and they would come out and they was like, oh yeah, it looks good. Slide them a little something, and they would go on about their business. Well, the building collapsed and killed people. And it was like people were actually stuck in the building. So that's when corruption becomes like a real serious, you see like, I'm just taking this little extra $200, putting it in my pocket. I'm not really paying attention to this, but they did that for enough. So the building was, I don't know, maybe 90% finished, and the workers were in the building, and the building collapsed and crushed these workers. And, but New Orleans is one of those places that's kind of corrupt like that. So I can tell you that corruption will eventually deteriorate a society to where it becomes not functional. Yeah. And that's what we see in my city right now. It's not a functional city.
Yeah. And I think in South Africa, it's become that way to a certain extent because of a lot of the way that, number one, the youth see it. They see their own leaders getting away with stuff as big as what they got away with. The smaller stuff they're going to discount. And I work in an industry where there's a lot of stuff that happens in there that I don't agree with. And even though the laws are in place, and I love my country's constitution, but unfortunately we don't have a practice of actually putting the justice system to play. And I think over the years we've tried it, and obviously our constitution has been tested in a lot of areas as well. But I also think that there's not enough implementation of the laws. There's not enough people that are actually putting the as great as our constitution is, putting those laws that were designed in place. And because of corruption, it hasn't helped, because people are getting away with stuff. And like I said, I work in an industry where things like specifically on the construction side, people are signing off, like in South Africa, as a plumber, if you do like your geyser replacements and well, I don't know if you guys know what geysers are, hot water cylinder, but yeah, a geyser replacement,
Yeah,
you've got
hot
to
water
be
heaters, yeah.
registered. Yeah, you've got to be registered with the Plumbing Association. And in order to issue that certificate, you get like obviously your code. And every time you issue one, it's actually your name on the line as the plumber if something happens that actually can end up causing damage. And what happens is these guys sign off certificates that they've never even replaced those geysers, or they've never done those types of stuff before. And they're just signing it off and getting maybe 200 Rand for the certificate or whatever the case may be. And what I've picked up now is there are actual assessors and certified people from the plumbing industry, which are now going out and picking up a certificate, a guy that says he's got a registered certificate that's been paid up. He will go, the assessors are going out with him now and saying, okay, let's check this particular installation. Was it done to standard? Are the laws being followed with regards to that? And they mark you off. But if you don't, if they're doing that and they can see that you're not following the regulation, then they are starting to remove them and tell them that they're not allowed to issue those certificates anymore. So that's what I'm saying. Look, for me, I think our policing system, our justice system, that's where we lack in our country. And although as much as what we, as a country, we've come far, we've got a great constitution. Everybody says it in the world. It's one of the best in the world. The implementation of the laws is our problem. Yeah. The problem of the justice being taken from that constitution. And also people have not been educated enough about our constitution, what their rights are as the ordinary citizens. And I think that's the one thing in America you guys are great at doing, pushing your agenda with regards to your what do they call it, your what, I'm not sure.
Our rights, our second, our Bill of Rights.
What do they call it? That one where you, with all your laws on.
Yeah, our Bill of Rights.
You guys are great at saying, you know, your Bill of Rights. You guys are, all of you should know at least like 10 of your Bill of Rights or whatever. South Africans don't know, unfortunately. And South Africans don't know the right to have.
All I know is my Second Amendment right.
Say again. Yeah, your Second Amendment right, your First Amendment right, and your First Amendment, your 14th Amendment. You know what I'm saying? Like in South Africa, I don't even think South Africans know. A lot of South Africans are not educated enough about those things. And so a lot of people get away with stuff. And I don't agree with corruption at all, even from the smallest level, to be honest with you. I don't agree with it. Even from paying a cool drink money to a bar.
Okay.
So.
Josie wants to jump in. Josie say, go ahead, Josie.
Look,
I ain't gonna put words in your mouth.
What people don't want to talk about is that why people, especially with the electricity thing, why a lot of people started switching to like being corrupt, like jigging the system, like you know, making your meter run slowly and adding a bit of money. One of the reasons for that is because of the billing crisis that was there. Well, regardless of whatever you did, you turn off your geyser, you'd use less electricity, you'd use some gas, the bill would still be skyrocketing. That's one of the reasons why people actually started being corrupt. The system that was there put them in a position where they just had to, look, let me just pay these people. That's why they did it. Sure, in an ideal world, because in an ideal world where everybody just believes in doing the right thing, so on and so forth, no one would be corrupt. But that's not how the world we live in works. Even in this country right now, one of the reasons why people started like, you know, being corrupt, like the average man also decided, hey, look, let me jig the system like everyone else is because of things like the billing crisis. Most people at some point, like let's say 15, 20 years ago, they were paying the electric bill. When this whole billing crisis started, That's when some of them had to make alternative means because that's the only way they could survive it, survive this thing. So we need to also take that into consideration. What were they supposed to do? So they bribed. A lot of people just were not able to afford electricity. That's why they do the things that they do. So the system itself, the people running it, contribute to how things are. So we can say, oh no, we don't believe in corruption. Yeah, that's great. But like, how are people supposed to survive in an environment like that? So of course people have to like give people a bit of cold drink here and there, make my meter run slowly so they can cope. They still pay for it, just not as much as they should be. Well, to be fair, when it comes to electricity, most of us don't actually know how much we're supposed to be paying. And most of us are not even sure how these meters are running. And we don't even understand these bills that we get. That's the honest truth. So yeah, that's just the electricity
All right.
example. I
Can,
could
can I
speak
just
Brother
come in
about
here?
Emmanuel want to jump
other
in.
institutions as well. Go ahead.
May I just jump in?
Okay.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah. I need to
Yeah.
respond to
Hello.
I-
Somebody was speaking on the background there.
yeah, I wanted to
What?
jump in and respond quickly.
Okay, go ahead, Sandili.
Yeah, I just wanted to respond to what Josie Gold just said in terms of why people don't pay electricity. And I don't particularly agree with him when he says it's because of the billing crisis, which is primarily a Johannesburg issue and not a South African problem. See, so there's a bit of an error in that statement to say that it's because of the billing crisis. But if you go back historically, you understand that people started refusing to pay services as a protest to the apartheid government. And that's when the initial issues of non-payment in this country started. The billing issue is largely a Johannesburg problem. I grew up in Richards Bay. We've never had any billing issue. But even back then in the 90s, people were not paying for services. It was a normal thing. In fact, Eskom used to go house to house trying to disconnect people who were not paying their services as far back as in the 90s. We've never had any billing issues. I just want to respond to what Joseph was saying.
Okay. I see Emmanuel got his hand up. And then after this, we're gonna talk about something else. We're gonna talk about now, just now, and right now. I need to know the difference. Emmanuel?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, doctor. You know, my submission is very short, doctor. I just needed to just comment on what Miss Dutoy was saying. She spoke about the justice system. Actually, there is no such thing as a justice system. It is just us who are connected in the system who will actually reap the rewards or the benefits. Wherever you go in the world, those who are connected in the system, they are actually the ones who can actually manipulate it and actually benefit from it, be it legally or through corruption, politically. There is no justice system at the end of the day. Just like Nancy Pelosi's husband just lied and said he he was assaulted by a Trump supporter, but there is a video that says otherwise, and the media ignores the video totally. They actually turn a blind eye. So you can see that there is no justice system at the great talent. It is just those who are politically connected who can manipulate the system, whether legally, through corrupt means, politically, or anything like that. They will find a way to actually benefit from it. It's not a matter of people not knowing their rights. It's just that those who have power, they just silence certain voices that are actually are against what they are doing, you know. And then I want to agree with the previous speaker right now, who just said the billing issue is a Johannesburg issue. Yes, it is true, because the current government promised the people of Soweto that they will not pay electricity. Right now, millions of people in Soweto do not want to pay. So therefore, then ESCOM, they produce energy, but they don't get paid for it. So like at the end of the day, they are losing money. So years back, the government used to subsidize ESCOM to actually pay the debt of people who are not paying. They used to pay like over 10 billion a year to actually sort out the debt of the people who are not paying. Right now, the government is no longer doing that. So therefore, that is why ESCOM is always running out of money there and there to maintain the power stations, because a lot of people do not pay electricity because they were promised free electricity. So that's why they actually do illegal connections. Yeah. Yeah,
All
let's talk
right,
about
Josie.
something else, Dr. Saad.
Okay.
Wait, Doctor.
No, I know
Sorry
Josie
about
wanted to
that.
respond, and then Sandilly. Then we're gonna move on, and then
Okay.
I'm gonna go because I'm eating grapes and I'm hungry.
Ah,
All right.
Doctor, wait.
Are you done? Is it the other
You'll have
guys
your
are done?
meeting next.
Okay, go ahead.
Just a second, sir. Just Doctor, your meetup. You actually do meetups during the end or the first week of the month, and usually it's not convenient for some of us. But if you were gonna meet maybe just 1 month, you can do a meetup during the middle of the month. I think that might be a little better. I don't know, Doctor. You will
No,
decide
you
on
think
the
it's
best
better
day.
to do it during the middle of the month? Why is that?
Not actually all the time. You can do it like most of the time during your usual time. But for me, the end of the month, the first week of the month and the last week of the month are not actually that convenient for me to
Okay.
actually yeah, you know, let me not say a lot.
All right. Well, we'll try to do one in the middle of the month.
Yeah.
1 month, and then see how it works out. I just try to give people like a whole
All right.
month because I know. So I used to do these back in New Orleans, right? We used to have the meetups back in
Yeah.
New Orleans, and I used to think, okay, well, let's give people a whole month to save their money so they can come out and spend, because going out to eat can be expensive for some people, and it's like a luxury, so let's give you a whole month. You put your little money to the side, we can come out to eat, so I'll try to give them time. But Josie wants to respond, Sandile, and then I just want to find out about now, just now, and right now. I need somebody to explain that to me. Then I'm about to go because I need to go make me something to eat. Come on,
Yeah.
brother Josie.
Okay, look, I'm from Johannesburg, so like this whole electric bill thing that people are talking about. Yeah, some people are not paying, some people are waiting for Mandela. Look, my grandparents paid the electric bill from apartheid all the way up until they died during this democracy period. People were paying for the longest time in Soweto, Alexander. I think there's at some level there's some sort of propaganda to make it seem like the entire township wasn't paying, like the whole of Soweto. It's disingenuous what some of the people in the media have been saying, and some of these ISCOM people. Many of us were paying. Grandparents all over Soweto, even in Alexandra, a lot of people were paying. Sure, they places where the illegal connections were there, but the billing crisis played a role in people not paying. That's something no one wants to talk about, especially here in Johannesburg. So yeah, thank you.
All right, brother Sandile.
Yeah, in closing, when I was doing my research, in 1990, the New York Times ran an article that spoke about the refusal by Black townships to pay electricity as a form of protest against apartheid government. You can look it up. I'm done. That's my final submission.
All right. Well, don't none of y'all go nowhere because I need y'all to explain to me right now. Josie, you from Josie? Sarah Jane, Emmanuel,
Yeah.
and Sandile. I was waiting on this Negro to come to my house. He kept telling me I'll be there now, just now. He ain't never show up. Tell me what is the difference and how do I get an exact time? I know we just talked about colored people time when we first started this thing, but I need to know. Tell me, Sarah Jane.
It's okay. So look, I think also Joburg and Cape Town has a different outlook on time as well, because in Cape Town they also like to use the word now, but that means like an hour later. So I think in South Africa, if you're working with contractors, particularly, or somebody repairing or whatever, you will never expect them on time. Don't expect them on time. That's all I can tell you. I can't tell you how late they will be. I cannot tell you, how long they will be. But with construction and repairmen, don't expect them on time. It's just something.
So black people are the
there are
same no
some
matter
guys-
where. That's all you telling me.
Yeah. So
That black people are the same all
so
over the earth.
now, just now, yeah. Now, just now, yes, it is a non-white thing. That's definitely a non-white thing. In Cape Town, when they use now, you can expect them there in an hour. That I know for a fact. So like when I know, because I'm originally from Cape Town. So when I looked at the differences, I currently stay in Johannesburg. But when I looked at the difference in Cape Town, they like the distances in areas are much vaster than here in Johannesburg. So if you lived in a suburb, you could be driving maybe 40 kilometers from each other. So when people used to say, oh no, that's around the corner. Then I'm like, around the corner, but it's 40 kilometers away, like that's far, and for me, like around the corner for me is 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So I think in Cape Town, because the distance of the suburbs they're not like closely linked to each other. You have to take like 3-4 turnoffs on the highway to get there. Here, it's like if I'm going from Florida, West Rand to Randburg or Four Ways, I'm 15-20 minutes away. So that's like around the corner for me. You know what I'm saying? So I think you just repairmen, don't expect them on time. So if they say coming 10 o'clock, book your day out, the whole day, because you never know what time they're going to.
That's outrageous. But that sounds so black.
You book your whole day out.
That sounds so black American. Because we already know
it's
the
just,
contractors say he coming.
Repairmen, I come from an industry where I work with repair guys. To get them to go on time to clients, I struggle with them specifically. And they will come up with a whole lot of excuses. They'll come up with traffic. If we know there was a storm in the area, they'll blame the storm, but they probably were not even in the storm. They will blame it on load shedding because the traffic lights were out in that area. Any excuse not to arrive on time. It's just there. I work with repairmen, I work with construction guys. They are horrible at keeping time. I've just picked that up. Sorry. You have to book your whole day out if you want the guy to come out.
I know the biggest lie black Americans tell us I'll be there in 5 minutes. That's 30 minutes away.
No. Look, there are the odd repair guys that will rock up maybe, if they say they're coming at 8, they'll rock up at 8. There's very few, but there are some of them. But I can guarantee you 80% of the time, if you've hired a black company or a non-white company to come out to your place, they're not going to be on time. And sometimes I had the guy that came out.
That's why we keep paying the white guys. That's why we keep paying the white guys.
I had a guy that came out for my Wi-Fi, and the appointment time was between 8 and 4. That was the appointment time, between 8 o'clock in the morning and 4 o'clock the afternoon. Like, am I supposed to know what exact time? Are you coming in the morning? Exactly. So I waited and he rocked up here at 3. So yeah, I work in the construction industry and with repair guys. So yeah, no, now trust me, you can wait 2 hours. You're never gonna get them on time.
So just now, then what is just now?
Look, just now means later. So like, for example, you guys spoke about guys that rocked up there at 6 at your meetup. That's just now. So like when you say 2 o'clock, the guys rocked up at there at 6. That's the guys that rocked. That's just now. I'll be there just now. So you guys made up a point for 2 o'clock for your meetup. The guys that rocked up there at 6 were just now, guys.
Do you know how
I'm glad you told me that, because I told you I was meeting up with that lady that time, and she showed up like almost 2 hours later. But she messaged me and was like, I'll be there just now. So I'm thinking, oh, just now, she's here. She's pulling up, she's parking. And I was about
just
to
now
like,
means
leave.
Just now can mean now means okay, sooner than just now. It's sooner than just now, right? But it's not on time. It's just now is
I see it just
I'll be
now.
there just
Let's
now.
do this another time.
Yeah. It could be
That's
like
how
if
I
you made the
interpret it.
appointment for 3 o'clock. Yeah, if I made the appointment for 3 o'clock, just now can mean 6 o'clock.
Wow. So what's the one that means I'm coming right now?
Maybe 4 o'clock. They earlier than the just
They're
now.
always late.
Yeah. The earlier than the just now people.
Oh, wow.
If that
So
makes
what's
sense.
the one that means I'm really right now I'm coming? What's that one?
I'm
I ain't
outside.
got no.
Right now? Yeah, no, the right now is
Right
probably
now?
right now. I'm not sure. But like, yeah, right now is I'll be there like 5-10 minutes, give it 15 minutes maybe.
That's the one I need to hear more often. Right now.
No,
I'm on my way.
no,
Right. My mama used to say, come down here. Not now, right now.
Yeah, the right
ahead,
now
Sandile,
means
what you were saying?
maybe, but like I said, the two.
I'm sorry, I think Sandile? Or was it Josie?
No,
I
no,
heard
I
a
was
man
just saying
voice.
that when they say I'm outside, that's the closest one.
Yeah, man, it's funny, man. But
Yeah,
I'm
but
laughing, but you know, you really be mad when you're waiting on somebody.
Like 2 hours.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
get I get in my
But I
feelings.
wouldn't have been as mad if I had known how to translate just now. I thought just now was I'm right down the street, like I'll be here.
Yeah.
You
Like
know,
I'm
Yeah.
used to
5
black
minutes.
people being
Asad.
late because we late. What'd you
Yeah,
say?
look, just expect people just to be late. Like that's something I've learned over the years. They're just gonna be late, regardless of whatever they're gonna say, blah blah blah, this, that, and that. Look, they're just gonna be late. Just accept that these people are gonna be late.
Just-
Sad but true.
And look, I'll be happier for it. I'll just go on and know they about to come. They say if they say 10 in the morning, just wait all day. That's
Yeah,
me.
you must
Look.
book your day out with repayment, especially repayment. But like if you have
Yeah.
appointment with friends, I would hope that respect your time. That's my only thing. Because I myself don't like
Thank you.
people that rock up there. You know, if I have a Zoom meeting, I wouldn't want them to rock up there 2 hours late. I'm not gonna sit on that Zoom call
Yeah.
for 2 hours. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I
Yeah.
just think, you know, if you got friends, they must respect the time you've taken out, a coffee or a lunch or whatever. They must respect the time you've taken out. And you guys are super busy. So I wouldn't want to waste your time. So yeah, I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I respect it. I respect all that. So, but I just know now that you just gotta adjust your schedule. And I mean, like Adrian was saying, when someone says now to us, that means like now. No, it's like just now,
It's
right
worse
now.
in Cape Town.
If they say
It's super worse in Cape Town because the distance
see
they
that.
travel is like the distances that
Yeah,
people
Cape
travel in
Town
Cape Town.
seems laid back.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cape Town
So they
does
don't
seem a lot
really
more
like
laid back.
Yeah. So like my dad, he stays in Stellenbosch, which is like a wine town, which is about 40
Okay.
minutes away from the city.
Mhm.
And for them, oh, we're just going to Cape Town. It's like a 40-minute ride. Like 45
Oh.
minutes is not around the corner, you know? So, but they're like,
Yeah.
oh, you know what? We'll be there just now, you know? And I'm like, no, you're going to be there like in an hour, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what traffic's going to be like. And, you know, and like, I always used to get frustrated with my family because I'm like, guys, we need to get to Cape Town because it's not really in Cape Town. It's outside of Cape Town. And I'm like, guys, we need to like leave now because it takes us about a 50-minute ride. And I'm like, can we leave now? And they're like, no, we'll be there just now. And I'm like, dudes, we're going to be late. It's like an hour's drive. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
I see
For us to
Shepo.
understand their way.
To Shepo.
No, Seppo.
Is the T silent?
Same.
It's just Seppo.
How you guys doing?
Moshe. They told us that a long time ago. Okay. Hey, we're doing well. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. I don't know why I'm having a delay on my side, but I'm hoping that you can hear me well.
Yes.
All right, cool. You know, I've actually been listening. I wasn't planning on jumping on today, but one thing that I've recognized is I know that we're having power issues in the country, but I've recognized a lot of anger because you see from the politicians, you see from the left and from the right and from the ordinary citizens relating to power, but there aren't a lot of people who actually are coming out with the truth. And the unfortunate truth is the ESCOM issue is not going to be fixed overnight. It's going to take a while before we'll have stable power supply. And that could be 34 months, it could be 4 years, because we have to have enough capacity to be able to cater for emergency services as well. And the unfortunate thing is that most of our public is that they are not informed with regards to how our power stations operate, how IPPs, which is independent power producers, will get onto the grid and so forth, you know. So, and it hurts because there's so much potential, and the people that we are relying on, the people that we put an X next to their faces, they're not telling the people the truth. And this is the time where the communities, the public, you know, the country needs the truth from our leaders. And unfortunately, our leaders are also picketing. They're also out there joining the masses, joining the anger, and that doesn't help, because that doesn't help with the truth. It only exacerbates the situation, because at the end of the day, there'll be more anger if there's no resolution. And you can poison the CEO of ESCOM, you can change the leaders, you can fire the president, but at the end of the day, neither of those things are a solution. And this is a time that I think that hopefully someone can step up and actually be that shining light that actually says, guys, let's work towards a solution. We all know what the problem is. We all know what the issues are, but the fundamental contribution is a problem that has to be solved, not resolved, solved. And a lot of people tend to jump on a bus even though they don't know where that bus is going. And it's unfortunate, because by the time you realize that you're on a wrong bus, you are far away, and to get off and then walk back, you already wasted probably half of your life by supporting someone who you probably wouldn't have supported if that you knew the truth. Or you find yourself in a place where you probably cannot return home. So if I may take a detour and tell a little story about how I was taught about anger, how to deal with anger. I was told about a foretelling that we as South Africans, as young ones, we were told, which told us about a white cloud that was an impending white cloud that was coming towards the south, towards our country. And we were told that this white cloud will come and envelope the entire country. It'll rule our people. It'll take all the resources, and it will govern with an iron fist. And all our African brothers who were rather a benevolent a nation, they couldn't believe that such a thing could happen to them. They didn't understand why them in particular. Why does this white cloud has to envelop them? What did they do? Why do they deserve that? And that for the people that were telling them about the foretelling, they were saying that even though this white cloud will bring all this darkness with it, you have the opportunity to learn about this white cloud. You have the opportunity to become better than this white cloud. In fact, you have the opportunity to make sure that when this white cloud opens up, when the sun starts shining, you'll be there to be able to feel the rays of that sun. And a lot of us were confused, or a lot of our ancestors were confused, because in the 1800s they didn't understand what that meant. And most of them, they started preparing, even though we were a benevolent nation, they started birthing warriors, soldiers, the kind of men and young women that will stand up and actually fight for their country against this supposed white cloud. And mind you, those warriors actually did come around, and they became probably the strongest warriors we had on the continent. In fact, they even brought a knife to a gunfight. let alone even won a battle with a gunfight. That's how much that anger created. In fact, it changed our genome to actually, for our parents to birth the type of people that would stand up and actually fight. But the unfortunate thing is that the foretelling doesn't change, and it doesn't tell a lie, and it doesn't change, it doesn't align it to your feelings, your anger, your fears. A foretelling will remain the same. And that foretelling even says that at the end, that white cloud, it would leave off of the same door that it came in. And if you know what I mean by the white cloud, I guess you'll understand what I mean, that if you look at a city like the mother city, like the lady you had right now, she says she's from the mother city. You know that the mother city is the doorway that our guests came through. Most of the people that actually invaded the country, colonized the country, came through. And if you look at the current trends of what happens with most of our European guests, they are already near the doorway. So the good thing is that the foretelling says that we will have our country back. We will be in charge of our country, and we will be responsible for everything that happens with regards to the success and the progress of this country. So I'm just hoping that our South African citizens can perhaps maybe learn more about what politicians are telling you, and learn more about what they are not telling you, because it's very easy to be convinced when you are angry than when you are sober minded and you are at peace and you have this harmony to be able to listen, to digest, and to assess the information that's been given to you. I think that should be the first step. That's just my piece on this ESCOM issue. Okay, thanks, guys.
But you know what? That information can be used universally, especially as I think about the anger that Black Americans are feeling right now, post this new incident of police brutality. It's very easy for leaders, whether they be politicians or just self-appointed leaders, to come in and start directing people because they're emotional, right? And this is what we need to do. And then when you're emotional, sometimes you're just looking for someone to tell you what to do, and that may not always be the best cause of action. And I do think emotionalism has, I'm speaking about Black Americans, has often clouded the judgment of Black folk and what we actually really need to do in order to find liberation or find the type of equality and freedom that we seek, if it is possible in the United States. I'm not sure it's possible. In fact, I'm leaning towards it's not possible, but if it is possible, we can't necessarily be led by emotionalism. But emotion. So on the flip side of that, emotionalism has its place because, as I talked about earlier, that type of release, if we don't have these cathartic displays of emotional release, what happens to us? Imagine trying to hold all that stuff in sometimes. But Emmanuel, I'm gonna let you roll, and then I'm about to go try to see what's open, because y'all know Josie be shutting down early. It's 9:43, man. Not gonna be open. Emmanuel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Doctor, I needed to just speak on the gentleman who came here. He spoke about a white cloud and stuff like that. What I can say, doctor, is that the white cloud, when it came here looking for a specific thing. All right. They started that in North America, you know, and I do not believe they found what they were looking for there. And they know that whatever they couldn't find from like Black people in America and South America and Australia as well and Oceania, they couldn't find it there. And they know most definitely that it most probably is right here in Africa, and particularly around the South, because that is where that particular bloodline actually moved down all the way from the north to the tip of this continent. So, like, the particular bloodline they have been looking for, I believe they know that it is somewhere around the south, around the southern region, whether South Africa or other southern region countries. That's the thing that they have been hunting down for for many centuries, you know. That is the Hebrew bloodline, Dr. Asad, simply to make it simple for you. They've been looking for that. They thought it was in North America. That's why they actually devastated you guys from east to south to everywhere, you know. But anyway, Dr. Asad, let me just venture into this now thing that most South Africans are just gonna bombard you with, you know. When somebody says just now, it's mostly when they are on their way. So when they say now, just know they forgot about you. They just remembered when you just told them. Then they be like, oh, damn. Dr. Asad, I'm gonna do it. No. They are remembering you that very second. So the no. This many nows, just know that they just remember that they had to do something for you. But when they just say just now, they remembered, but they might have not started. Some might be on their way. But when they are close, they will say they are 2 minutes away. 2 minutes can be 10 minutes. That's something
I'm used to them type of lies. Yeah, I'm used to that. I tell them type of lies myself. I say I'm 5 minutes away, just left my house.
Yeah,
but man, I first of all, I want to thank all of y'all for jumping on. I want to say there was a brother who was on last week on our live, and I've been communicating with him via email, and he's put together a pretty nice presentation that we will record and then just put it out as a video. But he'll be talking about, you know, the naming of ancestors and like is it the ancestor chants? I think he called them or something like that. And like family relations, the difference between uncles and stuff. And so I know South Africans are like, oh, we already know this stuff. But I think it'd be very interesting for the American family to be able to hear it and see it and recognize maybe, oh, that sounds like something that we do, or that's very different than what we do, or whatever have you. So that's coming up soon. I don't know if it's going to be, I think it's this week we will do the recording and then upload it at some point. With that being said, man, y'all, I set up here and ate grapes and everything while I was on.
Good night.
I'm hungry. I'm about to go get me something to eat. Would you say, Joseph?
Good night.
Good night to everybody, man. We always love and appreciate our family for joining us on these little lives. And we will be doing a live with Dr. James when he gets here and changing the narrative. So we'll get that squared away. So, all right, family, y'all have a good night.